Hey, it's Sydney Sweeney. I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney, Hasbro jeans.
You see what I did there, right?
On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
Welcome to I Talk to Ghosts. I'm your host, Jennifer, a teller of ghost stories and a professional medium. Dear listener, this isn't phantom noise. I'm trying out something new, and I'm going to offer my in-studio spirit readings as their own separate showcased episode. This way, I don't have to necessarily condense the timing of it, and I can offer you more from the session itself. So I'm going to try out this format and let me know if you like it or you dislike it. But you can find these in-studio spirit readings on Sundays when I have them available. Join me in my Spirit Parlour on Tuesdays for metaphysical and sometimes spooky chats. And of course, join me on Fridays for my ghost stories and my messages from the spirits. Tonight, enjoy this spirit session that I held with my guest Kim from the Slaycation podcast. I hope you enjoy this reading as much as we did. My guest this evening is Kim from the Slaycation podcast. Kim, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good, Jennifer. Thank you so much for having me. How are you doing?
I am doing good, but I gotta tell you, your family's energy. They usually I feel it the day of, maybe the evening before, but they were coming in like at least a day before that.
Wow, that's kind of not surprising.
Not surprising?
No.
It's like a parade to me. Like there's a parade going through my living room and like I'm seeing the symbols and everything. And
Wow.
It just feels like there is a lot of emotion in your family. Mm-hmm. And the overall feelings that I'm kind of swimming through is there's a feistiness, there is an antsiness, and there's also this vein of sadness that can be in there as well. Do you understand this?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. It all makes sense.
Okay. I love to check in right away with the big broad strokes because then I know I'm in the right playground, you know? Mm-hmm. I feel as if there are aunts and uncles and grandparents.
Well, you said uncle.
Yes.
I have an uncle that I have a couple of uncles that have transitioned, but there was one that I was close to. There's a couple actually, different. it's yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's almost like I'm having a hard time. First off, mediumship can very much be like trying to pick out a voice in a mall.
Right. I get that.
When there's multiple people, it can very well be like, well, if we're all here, but yes, your uncle, and there's a reason I said uncle first. He's coming through with, wow, did he have some great energy. He was like a champion, it feels like. Also very much a charmer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Just a really great personality that you can just, oh my gosh, I've known you all my life, even though we just met.
Yes. Yes.
So he's coming through with this energy, but then it feels like with him too, that there's this sadness in there, but I'm also getting that like he had to slow down. He couldn't do the things he wanted to do anymore. Mm-hmm. And it was the physical and the medical challenges that caused him to have to stop being him.
Yeah.
One thing he's saying, he wants you to know that things are lighter for him now.
Good. That's good. Yeah.
He's apologizing for having to turn away.
Right.
Did it feel like he had to pull his energy in?
Well, he had gotten sick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because both my uncles, one had leukemia, the other had multiple sclerosis. And there was kind of a, you know, like my uncle with multiple sclerosis just kind of faded away.
Yeah.
And my uncle with leukemia just kind of also, and faded away. And he was, always good for that phone call to check in, and always good for, like he came when my daughter was born. He was at my wedding, you know.
He's acknowledging that timing of his struggles and then his passing. The timing of it wasn't
Right. Yeah.
good. It's almost like, gosh, you could have used me. You could have you needed me.
Right.
And it couldn't happen. He doesn't want you to feel bad that like he's apologizing. He knows you understand it, but he wants to acknowledge it.
Right. Yes.
I might be jumping around a little bit.
No, that's fine. That's the nature of the beast.
First off, another message that was coming in was to understand the family is to understand you.
Mm-hmm.
And that you influence each other and you interact with each other in a way that some families just don't.
Right.
Individual people, and they're not knit together like this. But your family, they can be seen as this whole, and for good or bad.
Right.
But that message is coming through with your collective, is to understand the family, is to understand me, is to understand you.
Right. Which is yikes. Yeah.
I want to talk about, I mentioned the feistiness, and there's this antsiness. There's this feeling of how can you be so obsessed with something or focused on something and yet jumping around so much. Do you recognize this energy?
I do.
I'm also picking up on some quirkiness. Examples I'm thinking of are like, they're eating butter, or they're buying all this Pepsi at once.
Right.
It feels like buying a whole bunch of something at once, or like, why are you doing it that way? Or just some kind of quirky habits of, well, that's just them, or they've done it for all the time that you've known them. They've done this, that energy is coming in.
Right. Let's see. How can it's interesting because, I think of my father, who was always this sort of hustler in the sense that he was always having like these strange kind of foods that he would sell. So he would sell fish, he would sell ham, he would sell, and I remember thinking that it was a little strange because it was like an interesting side hustle to suddenly be having this 25-pound ham from the butcher boiling on the pot. And it was like, okay.
Your dad passed?
Yes.
To explain myself, it's this energy of, wow, you are so focused on this. And then all of a sudden you're so focused on this. And then that quirkiness of, hey, let me get all this thing, So it is cool to hear that he was selling it. So it's not like he was just hoarding it.
Right.
Because sometimes that behavior can be like, why did you have the Pepsi truck back up to the house when we already have Pepsi?
Right.
This is not an endorsement for Pepsi, by the way.
Right. Exactly.
They're not a sponsor of the podcast. That kind of this behavior of this is the thing, and now it's not the thing anymore.
Right.
That is coming through with him. Let me see. When I reach out to him to ask him why, he is coming back with this energy of it was really important for him for things to be nice. He wanted things to be beautiful for those he loved. Like he wanted a good life for the people that he felt responsible for. And that motivated him so much. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
He's like, I wanted it to be perfect. And maybe that was misguided.
Yeah.
And never quite got there.
Yep. Yeah.
But he couldn't let it go. Felt like there was this line that you have to cross over, and that's your finish line, and then you'll get there and you'll be good. And that answer was always changing for him.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. He was a very complicated person.
Yes. There seems to be a lot of indecision and self-torment.
Yeah.
And
had a lot of demons.
He's acknowledging that despite this goal of I want things to be nice, he focused on what was wrong.
Right.
And he just wants to acknowledge that with all that energy, he could have celebrated the positive instead of dragging himself down with the negative and letting that influence him so much that he couldn't get out of it. Like he couldn't pick his head up.
Right.
After a while. It's like he couldn't see anything else. After a while.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he's sorry for those influences because that affects everyone.
Yeah.
And it
is true.
Still, he wants to say, oh, if the timing had been better. And it was like a fate thing. He believed it was a fate thing.
Right. I can understand that. Timing is kind of everything. You know, and the times in which he grew up and the times are, very different than present day.
The uncle that you were close to.
My dad's side.
It is on your dad's side. Okay. Because your uncle wants to come in with, we're kind of getting heavy, and he's coming in like, hey, let's just have some fun. Okay. Yeah. Let's toast.
That was him. He was always always the cheerful.
Right.
Always. He really was. I miss him so much. I miss him. I miss him.
It feels like gathering with people, big or small, was just so important. It made his heart glow. And so like and he knows how his brother was, how your father is. And so he wants to come in with that energy of, hey, but wait, there are good times and there are together times and there are things to celebrate. And it's our relationships and that goodness that can outshine anything.
That is true.
Yeah. I wrote down, couldn't let things go. There are a couple people who can understand that sentiment. With your dad, it feels like he couldn't let things go in another way that other people
he
couldn't let things.
Yeah, no, it was very, very, it was, he, like I said, he had his demons, and I felt like really motivated and driven by fear and anger, and I don't know that he didn't really have the skills to sort of process like his own experience. And, I think as a result, it just kind of made it, parenting was challenging for him. He didn't know
Mm-hmm.
how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Here. How long have you been doing this?
Mediumship?
Yes.
Um, couple of years now. I really just jumped into it. I've always loved the supernatural and the paranormal, and
Yes.
I've lived in quite a few haunted houses.
Whoa.
Oh gosh.
Whoa.
I actually think we always joke that I was a little bit of a ghost magnet, and I think this is why.
Right.
It's actually calmed down quite a bit since I've started doing mediumship. You think it would get
Right.
worse, but it
Right.
actually has calmed down. And I got into it because, kind of unrelated, but it kicked the whole thing off. I was in a very minor car accident. Someone rear-ended me on a Black Friday because people drive crazy on Black Friday.
And it's true.
Yeah, and it left me with some back and neck pain.
Yes.
Nothing
No,
like
nothing. Right.
but enough that I was like, hey, I'm desperate. I'm going to try some energy healing.
Yes.
And I watched like a YouTube video.
Oh my God. And then you just.
And I put my hands on my neck, and the next day my neck didn't hurt. So I'm like, holy crap, I'm going to learn Reiki. And then I started doing Reiki, and then I started practicing on other people, mainly remotely. And then like the pandemic hit.
Right.
And really the turning point for me was I was doing a remote session for a friend that I like used to work with. I didn't know her super close. But during the session, she's meditating, doing her own thing. I'm in my own room. She's at her house with COVID.
Right.
And during the session, for lack of being able to explain it, it was like someone walked into the room, and it was this woman. And I'm like, hey, you want to help? And she's like, yeah. And she's kind of like, I'm like, all right, she's being a little bossy about what I should do. And I'm like, all right. And then she starts showing me these antique watches. And I'm like, all right, cool. Nice. And then after the session, I followed up with the next day. And I'm like, hey, this is a little weird, but this woman came to assist. She showed me these antique watches. Does this make sense to you? Am I crazy? And she said, I know exactly who that is. That's my mom.
Oh my, that is.
She said, that's my mom who passed away. She collected antique watches. And if there was any detail that would tell me it was her, it was that.
Oh my God, that is.
And so I was like,
holy cow.
I'm just sitting there. And then so I started reading books and taking workshops and doing classes. And it works.
Right.
And now, and it always works. And I really, really, really think that the practice of mediumship is just honing your attention, but it's always there for everyone.
Right.
We're all connected, and our nervous systems is where energy meets our body.
Yep.
And we all have a nervous system.
Oh, do we ever? Yes. Yes.
So, and it's just like sometimes I feel like I can't handle it. Like I'm on this adrenaline roller coaster.
Yeah, but that's what it is.
And then when I know I'm like, maybe I just need to cancel this today, that's when I know it's like, it's almost reassuring.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, no, the energy is here, and it's just my nervous system is overloaded.
Yes.
And sometimes when spirit comes in, they're really good at showing me things. A lot, lately it's been a lot of emotion and messaging but like whether it comes down to how the messages are presented or who comes in first, even, it's not up to me.
Right. Yes.
It's like, do what you want to do. Do what you want to do.
Right.
Okay. Let me get back into this.
Yeah.
Can we talk about tattoos a little bit? Mm-hmm. Tattoos are coming up for me. Spirituality.
I have a tattoo. It's uh it's a Chinese character. Um,
Hmm.
and it says horse, which in Chinese astrology, I was born the year of the horse.
Hmm.
And my mother has always been that person that was very interested in astrology, very into the paranormal, always into, yes, yeah, she was very, into that. And and I had gotten the tattoo, as sort of like a, so the thing about the year that I was born the year of the fire horse, 1966. And it was, at that time, they considered it bad luck for women and for girls because the women were considered hard-headed, headstrong, and difficult to marry off.
Hmm.
And I, in my infinite youth at the time, just was like, yeah, because I didn't really, like, while all my friends were getting married and like having kids and wanting to do all of that, I was not really, I wasn't that interested in getting married. I wasn't that interested in having kids. I found it to be, and I always remember my mother being very like, oh yeah, and that's it. And of course, unfortunately, like, I wish I had taken it a little bit more seriously, you know.
Your uncle was very supportive of you,
My uncle,
um,
he,
because let
yeah.
me just, the way he's saying is, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, it shouldn't be any other way. Like, he sees you and your personality, and it's at that parade energy again. He likes to just celebrate it and be like, you do you and do it more. Do it more. It feels like a good tag phrase
Yeah.
for him. Like, oh, anyone have a problem? Well, then you should just do it more.
Yeah. No, he was great support, you know. He was at my wedding. He was at my daughter's baptism. Like, he came, and the thing was is that, it wasn't like he lived close. He lived in Massachusetts, so it was kind of a
Mm-hmm.
hike. But he always, like, he always showed up. And I know that he had words with my dad just about some of my dad's insanity. Not that look, my uncle will tell you he was insane too.
Was their father figure strict? There feels like there's this element of strictness coming in
Yeah,
from their
yeah,
childhood.
yeah, yeah, definitely believe so. It was kind of that, like, generational too, when you consider, spare the rod, spoil the child. Um, you know,
From them moving, it feels like, how you can go to college after leaving home for the first time and you kind of lose your
hmm
mind.
yeah,
Then you gotta rein it back in.
yes, yes,
It's that kind of
yeah,
energy.
yeah, which definitely makes sense when you think about it.
Okay. We hadn't really discussed this, but does she give you signs
I feel like I wish there were,
more?
yeah, part of me even wonders, like, oh, is she mad at me? Because, we didn't always agree. And when it was kind of like a situation where I felt like I wished I could have done more, but, just
Yeah,
was kind of juggling a lot of my own stuff.
sure, sure.
She had dementia
Mm.
for like the last, I could say, 7 years of her life, 8 years. And it was challenging for me to get there to see her as much as I would have liked. And, I always felt like her dementia, because I've always wondered, like, what is dementia in the state of our spirithood? Like, what is going,
Sure.
so I always wondered that. I've always kind of like and given the person that she was, that was very spiritual, that was very,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I always kind of pondered what, you know,
The
yeah,
mechanics of that, right?
thought like in her struggles with depression, and I had kind of thought of dementia as like a suspended state almost, where the compromise between if I it's the compromise, right,
Staying or going,
exactly, exactly,
staying or going.
exactly,
Yeah.
which kind of made sense for her.
Hmm. With her, and you might not be able to recognize this, but she's coming in with a lot of gentle energy. It's very soothing, and it's very quiet, and it's very gentle.
That makes sense.
Okay, good. Because she's coming in with that. And even when we're talking about signs, her signs are going to be a little subtle. It could be a breeze on your cheek, or a feather, or just a flickering of light.
Hmm.
It's going to be very gentle. And she's saying that she's reconnected with that part of herself. This world, oh my gosh, this world is a circus.
Yeah, no, really.
When we have aspects of ourselves that are tender and vulnerable and gentle, they can get chewed up, and it hurts a lot.
No, that's kind of, her life story in a sense.
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
did not have it easy.
yeah. And she's bringing that into the conversation. I see mediumship as this dinner party, right? And we drift into conversations, and someone else will chime in, and yeah, she's coming in with that, and she wants to use this opportunity to encourage you. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't get this opportunity before, but if I'm at this dinner table, she's like, oh my gosh, I want you to shine so bright. I want you to do all the things you've ever wanted to do. I want you to just be so happy and be you and be you. And anything that it's that theme of you gotta let things go.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, let things go.
Mm-hmm.
It's time. It's time to be light again. It's time to be able to be buoyant, and you just the heaviness that, I don't want to say it plagues your family, but there's definitely this is the order of things. This is the business of things. This is business as usual. Yeah. That should be unlearned.
Yeah.
And it's like, try lightness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that's why she wants to come in with that gentleness too, of this is the real me, be the real you. And we all develop armor in our lives, but sometimes that armor gets heavier than it needs to be. And we also don't need it anymore.
Right.
So just take that time.
Right.
Just take that time. It's like, what would make me feel better? And how can I give that to myself?
Right.
As like, you are such a strong person. There's nothing you can't do or be there for yourself.
Right.
You'll get through all of it.
Right.
So don't hesitate. Don't hold yourself back for fear of getting punched in the head or something, or life disappointing you, because you're going to be able to handle that no matter what. Mm-hmm. Okay. I did write down some messages for you before we met, and from the collective, and I want to give those to you. Okay. First thing they said was, don't get pulled into drama. Mm-hmm. Just let it go. Don't, because, well, if it snags you, that's it. There's all your energy going into that. And it's a distraction. That's other people's way of distracting themselves from life. You don't have to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And also, it's okay to be sneaky.
Right.
If you need to be sneaky and not involve other people because it's going to cause drama,
by all means.
Just don't let them.
Right. Yes.
Don't let them know. Discretion.
Right. Exactly.
There's emphasis on focus. Like, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on all of that? noise, or are you focusing on what you really wanted in the first place and where your energy is flowing? There is a lot of talk of offering compassion to yourself and to others. And it feels like family really matters, and to approach it with the most open heart you can, and to just offer that love and compassion. So it's about nourishing yourself and then being that beacon for your loved ones.
Right.
Okay. Explore a creative invitation if it comes your way. There's talk of just go for it. Just go for the big thing.
Right.
Okay. And then just focus on family, love, safety. Safety seems to be a big issue, not in any kind of threat kind of way, of just it's security. It's a feeling safe. What makes you feel safe?
Right.
Give that to yourself. Right. Give that to your family. Compassion, and not to go it alone.
Right.
There's no reason for you to go it alone.
Right.
So I know there's a lot in there of, hey, use discretion, but hey, don't go it alone. But like choose who the people are, who are the players in your life. Okay. Does that resonate for you right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for trusting me to do this for you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for doing this. It's not easy work.
I get through it. My nervous system gets through it. But, there's a lot of delicate details, and it's very personal, and it does never lost on me how this is private. This is very personal, and I just appreciate that trust so much in allowing me to just walk into your life and go through your underwear drawer.
Right. Because for all intents and purposes, that's kind of what it is.
It kind of is. It is. Well, let's talk about Slaycation for a minute. I highly encourage everyone to go check it out. And but go ahead, and where can people find it? What are you and the trio about? Go ahead and talk about it for a second.
Well, so Slaycation is a true crime, a darkly comedic take on stories where murders and mysterious deaths that happen while on vacation or away. So that's and as somebody that has always been very curious, I've always been very curious about true crime. I always describe myself as the OG of true crime. I'm like, I was reading true crime before there was DNA, or rather DNA, catching people and putting them in jail. And so it was always something that I find very fascinating, and even till present day. So I guess it makes sense that I would be hosting a true crime podcast. And, the interesting thing about it is somebody had asked about why we thought that, like, why are people so interested in that genre? Are we interested in it because of I know why I'm interested in it, and I always have been interested in it because I always find myself trying to understand what brought a person to that point. Like, how did we get here? What makes a person that can go out and commit atrocities? What makes a person decide, I really need some money, maybe I need to off my wife? Like, who makes, like, how is that person made? And I'm always very curious about that. Curious about the person that will see somebody broken down on the road and be like, oh, let me help you, and then don't,
right. It's an opportunity.
Right. Like, what is that troubled soul are you that you are able to hurt people and commit the worst crimes and do the worst things, be your worst self, and go on about life? So that's always been something that I don't have any answers. So, but
right. Oh, I know. And it's amazing to me, like, you're taking this genre of true crime
Yeah.
and you're only things that happen on vacation or on
Yes.
trips. And it's like, oh my gosh, you're never running out of content with that. That is shocking.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And it was actually my husband who had come up with the idea. And initially it was a TV show idea, and he just happened to ask me if oh, do you think there's enough? And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And then I just, rattled off a few cases that I knew from my consumption of Dateline or, Discovery ID, and he was like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
this could be a podcast."
Right. Even currently, everyone is talking about Amy Bradley
Yes.
because of the documentary on Netflix right now.
Yes. It's interesting how, and we still don't know what happened to her, which blows my mind. Feel like there's an answer somewhere. We just may not have access to it.
Right. And that's the other thing, not letting these stories fade when there are answers out there still needing to be discovered.
Right.
And to continue to shine a spotlight on it. Don't let it fade. Don't let it go away. Don't stop talking about it so that others are aware, because you never know.
You never know.
I completely understand trying to understand the why and the how come. And it is infuriating that you can't understand it.
No, because
if you understood it, you would,
well, I mean, let's face it, we're the reason we can't have nice things.
Humans. Yeah. And, with the work that I do,
Mm-hmm.
just the facets of the human personality and the depths of compassion and the things we experience and share together and create. And then the other side of that coin is how dark can it get? And
Yes.
personally, I have to monitor my input of
absolutely,
because then the whole world starts to
absolutely.
So finding that balance can be a challenge in life. But
I can imagine. I can totally imagine. I mean, it's heavy duty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And you think about like all the people, like people have transitioned.
Yeah.
And so your world, of course, there's a lot of noise in your
Mm-hmm.
world. And I imagine that it's just kind of mind blowing.
Yeah. I've had a few people ask me as a medium if I've ever tried that kind of work. And there is another medium that, like, I've read her book and attended a few of her medium circles where her name is Kay Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
And she has done
Right.
some forensic type work. And she's like, rule number 1, never approach the authorities. They need to approach you.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, I can respect that. And I run away,
Right. Exactly.
But there's certainly been times in my life where I'm listening to a story and I'm like, I'm getting a feeling here, and they happen to have had the answers later on. I'm like, oh, yep.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't really go into that area of things. Who knows? Maybe in the future,
Right.
there'll be a thread of calling for that. But I certainly respect people who can look at it straight on. And, then there's the sense of truth needs to be found and honored and
right.
all of that. And it isn't about entertainment.
Right.
It is. Sure, I'm sure there are people out there who are like, oh, it's entertaining.
Right.
But for the most part, it can be much deeper than that.
Right.
And I understand that.
Yeah. I mean, we really try to take the stories and pay it forward in the sense of what are we learning from these experiences? What can we take away? What, and in a sense of honoring the victims of the story is that sense of, what would you say if you were to come back? It's kind of wanting to channel that energy and put it forth. How do we protect ourselves from evil? And sometimes evil that we've trusted and loved and thought that we would be protected, and turns out no.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of very interesting content.
Yeah. Well, where can everyone find Slaycation?
Everyone can find Slaycation wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify. You can find us there, or our website, slaycation.wtf. You heard that right.
WTF. That is us.
Yeah.
Do you ever take story suggestions from listeners?
Oh, yeah. A lot of our stories are story suggestions. People have, a lot of times they're like, oh, I heard this story, but I'd love your take on it. So, yeah, we do. We do get
Nice.
a lot of stories through our audience.
Well, again, I encourage listeners to go check it out. If you're on all of the podcast apps, right where you listen to I Talk to Ghosts, you can go and find it.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you, Kim. Before we go, do you have a personal ghost story that you would like to share? Listener ghost story.
My husband has this ghost story that he always tells when asked. And it's interesting because he's very, very skeptical. And the only reason that he hasn't been able to entirely dismiss it was because he was with another person. And that other person observed what he observed and recognized it as the ghost. And essentially what it was, he was shooting a film in the old Ambassador Hotel in California. It was actually the hotel where Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated. Anyway, so he says a lot of it was not accessible to the general public. Like, people were there to shoot this particular scene in this film. So a lot of the places were kind of cordoned off, and they needed some place to shoot or something. So he and a security guard had got on the elevator, and the elevator door opens and they see this woman who's dressed very retro. It was like a different time period. And he said that the security guard said, "Miss, excuse me, miss, you're not supposed to be up here." And he said that the figure turned and then turned around and went down the hall and like floated away. And he said that they ran down the hallway because the security guard was certain that it was, and it was nothing, disappeared into nothing, like there was no. And he was like, at that moment they recognized that this was a paranormal experience. My own personal ghost story, and a number of years ago, many years ago, a friend of my sister, and this wasn't somebody that I was very well acquainted with. It was only somebody that I knew very peripherally, but he was a friend of hers, and she was away at college, and this friend of hers died very suddenly of meningitis, right? And she was devastated. She was very upset. And I don't know how long it was after, but this person had come to me in a dream and was like, "Look, just tell your sister I'm all right. Just let her know I'm all right." And I was like, "Wait, hold on. What are you doing here? You know, what happened?" He said, "Just tell her I'm all right." And then that was it.
Wow.
So I always wondered, I was like, oh my. But I always believed that that was a message that had to be given to her. So,
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I think we're all capable. We all have the tools we need
yeah,
to communicate in ways we can't explain.
right.
You know?
Exactly. That's kind of the that's kind of the thing too, being open to the fact that maybe you can't explain everything.
Right. I think the world is a lot more wonderful when we can't
No,
explain everything.
exactly. Exactly.
Well, I feel like we could keep
We
talking
sure could.
for a good
Right.
another hour. but I want to thank you for your time, and again, for sharing this with me. And, Your family, oh my gosh, the big emotions and the richness of everything comes through.
That all makes sense. There's a lot going on. It was a lot going on here.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense that there would be a lot going on there.
Yes, exactly.
The chaos and crazy of it all. Thank you so much for having me, Jennifer. I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate reading and the opportunity to make that connection.
Yeah, you're so very welcome. Dear listener, this concludes tonight's Spirit session. If you're interested in signing up for a possible free reading as a guest of the podcast, go ahead and visit italktoghosts.com to sign up. And if you want to book a reading for sure, there is a discount available there if you do choose to share your reading on the podcast. Again, no pressure. I absolutely welcome you to book a one-on-one private session with me. I can't wait to meet you. Again, visit italktoghosts.com for all the details. Thank you and good night.
Welcome to Brew Crime, a true crime and beer podcast. Join me, Mike,
and me, JT,
as we explore the world of crime, conspiracies, or whatever catches our attention. This is a podcast where we pick a theme, cover a few cases, and pair them with a brew.
Between themes, we do what we call Brew Crime News, a funny look at current news stories, be it crime, animals, sports, or even celebrities.
You can find us on all social media at Brew Crime. Our website is brewcrime.com, and you can find us on any podcast app at Brew Crime Podcast.
Join us as we discuss the horrible crimes that surround us, and maybe, definitely, tip a bottle or two back as you do it. Drink with us weekly.
Hey everyone, I'm Erica.
And I'm Elizabeth.
We're sisters, wine lovers, and your hosts for the podcast Spirits Uncorked.
In season 2, we're leaving the haunted waters of Lake Lanier in Georgia and diving into all new spooky stuff. Shadow people?
I've seen them.
Haunted military bases?
I've served on one.
Local restaurants with ghostly reputations?
I work at one.
Okay, if something spooky doesn't happen to you, I worry about you.
The paranormal is my normal.
Plus, we'll sip and chat with horror authors, fascinating guests, and test out some superstitions along the way.
Knock on wood.
So uncork a bottle and pour a glass of the paranormal with us on season 2 of Spirits Uncorked.
Get ready for sips, scares, and sisterly sarcasm.